Hey everybody, Justin Crane here. Thank you so much for registering for this webinar, How to Get Real Profits. I'm really psyched that you're here. You're probably wondering, who is this wonderful face staring at the screen? Well, Star Layden is one of my best business buddies out there. She's like one of those trusted advisors for me who I go to pick her brain, to get in touch with. I'm a money guy, right? So how am I feeling about money and what I'm teaching and all that kind of stuff. She runs an amazing women's group. She's a near and dear friend to me, and she's going to be along for the crazy wild ride that we're going to take about profits in the business. So welcome, Star. I'm really happy that you're here.
I'm so happy to be here with you guys.
Let's make some money. Let's make some profits. All right. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. Let's get going here. All right. I want to make sure that you can see my screen. Can you see it all right?
Yeah, I got it.
Awesome. All right. Now, you're probably thinking, all right, he's talking about profits, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I'm talking about profits. But what I want you to think about is when you're making sales in your business, I want you to keep the money that you're making. I actually want you to make a profit. I want you to be like, oh my God, I got to pay taxes on the money that I made. That's not the end of the world. That's okay. So this webinar is all about how to get real profits. So let me ask you guys this, Star, have you ever been like crazy overwhelmed when it comes to dealing with the numbers in your business? And where you don't know like where the
yourself, you've been there.
Yeah, like do you ever ask yourself like where did all the money go?
Well, sometimes I'm always asking myself that question. It's like, where's the money at? Where is it coming in? Where's it going? Like, yeah.
Yeah, I've worked with a lot of business owners, and they're not sure what to do with the money when it comes in. It's stressing them out. They're like, oh my God, I want to just hide and get under the covers and not deal with the money. You're just not sure what to do, and you're like, there's got to be a better way to deal with this money, because most of you got into business to kick ass and to do the things that you want to make an impact. But then when it comes to making the money, you're a total what I would call freakazoid, where I'm borrowing a 70s term there, but you're freaking out about it. So that is where I come in. I help business owners with their money. I help them understand what's going on with all of the numbers in their business. I'm a CFP. I'm a certified financial planner professional, and I've worked with business owners and gotten them way clearer on what they should be doing with the numbers in their business so that they could feel so they could financially breathe. Is that even a term, Star?
Financially breathing?
Yeah.
I think that you've just coined that.
I think it's about doing what you want, when you want, and how you want it. To me, that's what financially breathing is all about. So let me ask you a question. How many of you guys felt like you were totally out of alignment with the way that you thought about money, the way that you've conducted yourself in business, the way that you just kind of took action in your business? Maybe it wasn't the profitability that you wanted to have in your business. I was that way. I was a financial advisor at a big Wall Street firm. I had the corner office. Was doing really, really well, but I was making wealthier people wealthier. And I just wasn't into that. I wanted to help the little guy. And I was like, okay, I know I'm not happy doing what I'm doing, but I settled and I stayed and I did nothing. I was like one of those ants marching, and I was just unconscious. I'm sure that's happened to you or some of the women that you've worked with, right, Star?
Oh yeah. I think part of it is the arc of business, and depending on where people are, but the way to master it is to understand how to navigate it. And that's what you're so good at, Justin, is helping people navigate the financial breathing that you call to really get comfortable, for sure.
So I was playing not to lose at work. Even in my marriage, I was playing not to lose. And at some point I had to make a decision to stop being unconscious and start being much more aware of what are my challenges? What am I thinking? Am I making profits in my business? Am I happy where I am? Because I wasn't happy in my job. I wasn't happy in my marriage. I left my job as a financial advisor to go start my own firm. My marriage was not successful, and I ultimately got divorced. And I was in this place of just not knowing what was going on with my financial life. And I think you got to get really, really clear on that. It's almost like you need to make the decision to, what I call, just be a prosperity thinker, where you're going to own your results. You're going to teach yourself where you want to go, and you're going to run a profitable business. It's really about just taking a stand in yourself and playing to win. I mean, that's got to have come up with the ladies that you deal with.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, the women that I work with, majority of them are 7, 8, and some of them are 9-figure business owners and have multiple businesses. And the one thing I will tell you is that they haven't always been that way, right? And when you're getting started and you're doing it, whether it's your first day or you're still figuring it out in your first year of business, like understanding this from the beginning of mastering your money and knowing what's happening, it's like, yeah, it happens. And it sometimes happens when we don't want to happen, even later, but it's like we get better at it. So for sure, I mean, when we own our businesses, we got to own what's happening in the reality of our business first, and then move from the reality and make it the way that we want it. Yeah.
Now I'm sniffing at you guys listening, right? I can smell through the camera. If you feel like you were playing not to lose rather than playing to win, you're in the right place. Because, so many people think about saving and saving and saving so that they can live the life that they want to when they're like 82. I'm not into that. I'm about making money today, being profitable in your business, and making a decision that it's okay to spend some of the money. I call it getting the shoes, right? Getting a cup of coffee, getting the shoes, doing sushi, going to Vegas, taking your kids on a vacation. You've got to do all that, because if you do, you're going to be happier. You're going to be more productive. You're going to end up making more money, and you're going to have a much better ride along the way. I made that decision. That's what I learned. I learned that if I could play to win and understand money strategy, I could develop the financial life that I wanted to, and really the life that I wanted to. Here I am with my gorgeous wife. I got married 2 years ago. We have a beautiful blended family. I just went to Philly to do Passover with her family, and I had a great time. And I'm way more present and just passionate about family, about business, and about life. Like I could dive through the screen and give everyone a hug. That's where I am with my business. I guess you could do that, right? So let's now get into the profitability of the business. So I've set it up. Just imagine where you could be if you implemented some of this kind of stuff. The first thing I want to talk about is your business model. Now, Star, your business model, has that ever rung? I know you've run many businesses, right? What does that mean to you?
Well, business model is how the flow of money is going to come from someone else for the value you're providing to you. So it's critical.
Absolutely. I'm right there with you. Yeah.
Mission critical, Justin.
So with your business that you're running, you need to have a business that scales. That means when sales go up, costs don't go up by the same amount. So if you invest $100 to make $1,000, maybe you can invest $150 to make $2,000. It's as simple as that. I want your profits to go up, your sales to go up, while your expenses may go up. I want them to far outweigh that. Basically, I want you to make more money with the money that you're spending, and we'll talk about that. The second one is you've got to leverage what you have. It's the ability to do more with less. It's like buying a piece of property. Like if you're going to buy $1 million house, you don't have to buy it for $1 million. You could put up 20%, right? $200,000. You now own more with less money. So where can you take action in your business to get better results with the same amount of time, the same amount of energy? Now, I don't have all those answers, but hopefully I'm giving you a couple things to think about. And lastly, your business has to have recurring income. You've got to be able to have recurring income. If you're working like a dog and you're getting paid and then the client leaves or the customer leaves, you're going to feel like you're spinning your wheels, and you're going to feel like you don't have a profitable business. A profitable business is when you're making money all of the time, consistently, where the money is more recurring and you don't feel like you have to work so hard when like your other business friends are out there working like 4 hours a day, taking vacations, living the life, and you're like, I am way smarter than that person. And if that's you, you just need to incorporate these three things and implement some of the things that I'm going to tell you. So I'm just checking in with you, Star. You can see my screen. You can hear me. All this is making sense, right?
Totally. Scale, leverage, sustainability, 3 essentials. I love the way you attack this. It's so valuable. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, cool. Great. So this is about profits. This is all about profits. So what are profits? Many of you may know what it is, but I got to just tell you so you kind of get it. It's your sales minus your expenses equals your profits. So you may think you're making money, but it's really about what you keep. So let's just review the fact that you need to know these 3 key numbers. And if you don't know them today, that's okay. These are just what I call writer downers, where you just get out the paper and a pen, get really, really present with me, and write these 3 down. That way you'll be able to back into the profitability of your business and your overall cash flow. Number 1, you need to know what you're doing on an average monthly basis with your sales. If you don't, just ask your bookkeeper or look at your bank account or whatever, and just, you've got to figure this out. What are your average monthly sales? If you don't know this, look at last year's income statement or profit and loss statement or whatever. Just write down what your average sales are. Next, I feel like I'm telling people to bake a cake. All right, I want you to bake a money cake. Average sales, step 1. Step 2, get out the vanilla, take 3 eggs, beat, add sugar, put it in the oven. Step 4, take 2 Tylenol. All right, stopping the joke there. Step 2, what are your average business expenses, right? You got to know what your average business expenses are. If you pay yourself a salary, if you got overhead, whatever, you got to know that. Mm-hmm. And then number 3, you need to know what your average expenses are to live. You need to know these 3 numbers like the back of your hand. If you don't, that's all good. Just find out what they are, write them down, and you'll be that much closer to figuring out your cash flow and your profitability.
Awesome. Okay. I love it.
Now, we're about to get a little jiggy. We're getting jiggy with our profits. The first, I'm now getting into, this is the core part of the content, which if you're planning on getting nauseous around money, this is where you want to begin to get nauseous. But don't worry, because we're going to have a glass of wine and I'm going to teach you this stuff. Number 1, 10%. I want your business to have a profit of 10%. So if you're doing sales of $50,000, your business needs to make $5,000, just 10% of your sales. If you're not making at least 10% profit margin, that's A, why you don't have a profitable business, and B, while you're robbing Peter to pay Paul, while you're trying to pay your credit cards off or your employees or make a payment or hire someone and you're always freaking out about the cash flow, start with one thing, 10% profits. That either means you got to make more money or spend less. I mean, this is not rocket science. It's really simple. But you have to make the decision, right? You have to make the decision that you're going to run a profitable business. So the 10% is against your sales. So remember, we need to know what your average monthly sales are to back into what your average monthly profits should be. All right. How was that? Good?
That's so good.
All right, we're jamming. Before we start jamming, I'm going to lighten things up again, because now this is not me. Everyone's like, dude, nice goatee. You should grow one. By the way, if I had a goatee, it'd be like gray. I have like major gray. I'm about to cut in to the core part of the content, and I'm lightening it up again because you might feel a little bit like overwhelmed, and what I'm about to give you will go slow, but I really want you to just be lighthearted with it for the beginning. And as we go through it, we'll get more into it. All right. So sharing my screen with my little Excel doc. Now, Star, can you see that okay?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, great. All right. So we are going to pretend that you make cookies. I'm going to give 3 examples.
I thought we were baking a cake.
Oh yeah, we're baking. Hey, you know what? This is live. I'm just going to type over this. Cookie cake.
Nice.
Cookie cake. That's right.
Yeah.
All right. I love those chocolate chip ones. They're the best. So these are all hypothetical. They're just examples, but we're going to dig into this profit part. let's pretend that your annual sales are $100,000 and the cost to make the cookie, the ingredients, the sugar, the oil, the this, the that is $30,000. So your gross profit is $70,000. And your expenses, these are just like your overhead, your rent, your staff, whatever, is 20 grand. So now your net profit is just the 70,000 minus 20,000 equals 50,000. So remember that 10% number? So I want your net profit to be a percentage. Now, if you're in the inventory game, if you're making something, it's against not your sales, but it's against your gross profit. So $50,000 divided by $70,000 is 71%. So I'm asking for 10%. This person's making 71%. I wish it would always be like this, but it isn't, because I'm going to bring up a couple key things. So if you wanted your business to have a 10% profit, again, it's against your gross profit. It's against your profit after you take out the cost to make the stuff. So 10% of 70 grand is $7,000, right? So now we're going to get into the problem that happens with a lot of business owners. Business owners, I mean, we all got to live, right? We got to move money from our business account to our personal account. We take distributions, we take withdrawals. Sometimes we take salaries, but for this example, I'm just going to say you're just moving money from account A to account B. So let's pretend that you need $4,000 a month to live, right? Like you have bills, you got to pay a mortgage or a rent, you got kids, you got food, you got, Whole Foods, the whole deal, the whole enchilada. So you're now taking out $48,000 a year from your business account to live. Okay, so the profits are 50, you're taking out 48. What I'm saying here is that you have to add those distributions back in to arrive at that 10% profitability. Now, these distributions, for those of you who like go detail on the financial statements, they're not going to show up on your profit and loss statement. They show up either on your balance sheet or your statement of cash flows. But for the profitability, just for you, your own financial peace of mind, your own cash flow, your own having money in the bank, like who wouldn't want to have that? You have to add in these $48,000 of distributions. And you have to think of them as an expense. This is what's going to save you. So now let's do some math. Gross profit, 70,000. Expenses, 20,000. Distributions, 48,000. Net profit, 2,000. Your goal is 7,000 or 10% of this gross profit number. So your net profit is now 2 grand when you factor in taking money out to live. But you got to keep at least a 10% profit. So what happens here is you got to take $5,000 less out of your account to arrive at that profitability number. So you used to take out 48 grand, but you need to leave 5 in, right, to get to 7. So now you can only take out 43,000. 43,000 divided by 12 is $3,583. But before, you were taking out 4 grand. This one key concept, I'm telling you, you'll be profitable if you follow this. Capiche? Hey, you'll capiche me right now. Hey, forget about it. All right. So this is it. This is it. So, okay, you're probably thinking, well, I don't make cookies. Like, I got no inventory. Like, I'm an event planner or I'm an interior designer. How does it work for me? I got one for you. Let's say that you're an event planner or you do interior design work. Your sales are 130. The cost to make the furniture, or let's just say you buy furniture and you mark it up, or you're an event planner and you buy like tables and linens and flowers and all that stuff and you mark it up 30%. So your gross profit's 30 grand. Your business expenses are $30,000. Again, hypothetical, just hypothetical. Your business expenses could be, 30 grand. Your net profit is 0 and so on and so forth. But let's just change this and let's just make it be $25,000. Right? So now your net profit is $5,000. You're running at 17% net profit above my 10% number. So you're making 5 grand on 30, that's 17%. 10% would just be 3,000. But again, the same thing. You need money to live. How much money are you going to take out of your account to live on a personal basis? So in this example, the 10% net profit is $3,000, right? And you're at 5. That means you can only take out $2,000 to live. This again is where people get tripped up. Their personal expenses are too high. Their overhead is either too high. Like I've seen event planners and nutritionists not mark up enough, or they begin to discount this 30% markup, and this is where they get into trouble. They say, I'll do it for 20, I'll do it for 25. But if you change this to 110, look out below. This, again, this is it. All right, so I got you. You're probably thinking, well, I got no inventory. I have none. Okay, let's do the same exact example. If you're a coach, if you're a consultant, if you're just whatever, you got no inventory. You're a nutritionist. You got sales of 100. There's no cost to deliver the service or the product. So your gross profit's 100 grand. Your expenses are 20. Your net profit is 80,000 bucks. Your percent profit on this is 80%, right? 80 on 100. And then if you're at a 10% net profit, which by the way, if you want to be 15 or 20%, that's great. Just, you got to start with something. So start with 10%. That's 10 grand. Now you know that if you wanted to live, you could take out $7,000, right? $70,000 a year, or 70,000 divided by 12, 5,800 bucks a month.
I have a question.
Yes.
Okay, so I understand the concept of what you're teaching here, but really the cost to deliver services, it always costs money. I mean, you have to pay your your taxes have to be done. You have to pay your tax, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's never gonna, if you're in a business, a cost to deliver services is never zero, right?
Well, accounting wise, if you're in the service business, the only cost, when I say accounting wise, I'm talking like, filing tax returns and doing your books and having it be all in the up and up. The only time for a service-based business where there's a cost to deliver the service is if, let's say, you're hiring a junior nutritionist or a junior coach. They would then be, if you're paying them like, I don't know, $24,000 a year, right, and they're providing that sale or that service, yeah, then that would be it. But if you're the one that's providing it, or if you're selling information online, or the cost has to be directly attributable to the sale that you're making. This, I think what you're referring to down here, Stars, this is the overhead. This is where you do marketing. This is where you hire people. This is where you do website stuff. This right. is where you have health insurance, all that stuff. Yeah, of course it costs money to run a business. Yeah. But I'm just arguing that if you want to maintain that 10% net profit, you got to be really clear on where you're going to invest and where the money is going.
So that would initially be in the expenses and not the cost.
Yes, yes, yes.
Someone like a coach, if you don't have overhead and retail and all that other stuff.
Yeah, but everyone there's always a cost to do business. Right. I think what I see in working with the students in my group is that they know that after working with me, like, I'm a big believer in marketing. You have to invest in marketing. You have to, I got it right here. You have to invest to grow.
Yeah. But
a lot of people, they have that lack mentality. They think like, oh, I'm going to start investing and I'm going to lose money and the money isn't going to come back and blah, blah, blah. Like, you talk about prosperity thinking all the time, Star, right? It's about investing in your future results.
Yeah, totally. You have to invest to grow, for sure.
So what are some examples of some things that you guys can do to invest to grow? And how do we make sure that that this 20,000, right, turns into more sales, or that you don't, let's make this be a 0 so I can just get back. Okay, so if we know that we have 70,000, let's just say for this example that we can either take out 70,000 bucks from our business, or let's just say that we want to take out 50 to live. That leaves us with 20. Are you following me? Am I good?
You're good. Right?
And you want to invest in some stuff. You're like, all right, should I invest in marketing, people, website, health insurance, all that stuff? Really marketing. So I'm going to stick with that. So now let's get back over here. We got the crazy wig on. We're back. Okay. So we're at making sure my head isn't chopped off, because I grow as I talk. I started off the presentation at 5'8". I'm like 7 feet tall right now. All right. This is another key thing about profitability, because people ask me, like, should I invest in my business or pay down debt or save for retirement, or if I invest in my business, I'm not going to make any money. Here's how you need to think about it. First of all, what are you going to invest in, right? You could invest in marketing. You could invest in hiring employees or independent contractors. You could advertise. You could hire a coach. You could invest in technology. But I want you to grasp your arms around this key point, is that you're making an investment in future results. So the investments that you're making, they have to actually come back, and they have to make a profit, and they have to convert. So I want to give you two examples, two case studies that I've worked on with some of my students in looking at this in terms of what we did. So the first one is Sharon Henry. She teaches kids how to ride horses. I mean, it's as simple as that. And you know when they say, like, your product speaks for itself, you know, when they say that, Star, or like, you're so good that people referral, word of mouth and all that. Yeah. Well, she started to do really, really well. And then she got, which is, you know, normal, a little overwhelmed. You know, how many students can I teach? I'm so busy. I don't want to take anyone else on, you know, and then she hit that ceiling. But after working with me, we figured out how much she could invest in help, really, in having another person teach the kids besides her how to ride the horses. Now, this was a biggie for her because she was afraid that she was going to lose the money and all that kind of stuff. But after doing it, 1 year, her sales went up and her profits went up 7 times. Now, that's an example of leverage. That's an example of her investing some money and getting a better rate of return, scaling it. But it took some time, right? So we had to figure out how much money she actually needed to take her business to that next level.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Cool. Yeah. And then another one, I'm actually going to have Ianthe come on a little later. Ianthe is in the candle business. She makes wearable candles. She's been on, like, Dr. Oz. She's been on the Today Show. She's glowing with her candle business, is very, very successful. But here's where she made investments. She was farming out a lot of the tasks of making the candle to an outside vendor. So we looked at, for her, in order to raise her profits, we cut down some of her costs. She now pours the candles in-house rather than referring them out to some guy who's making them for 2 or 3 times the amount that she could make them for. So that's one thing. The second thing is she had a lot, when I say a lot of people helping her. Her instinct was to just basically hire everyone and save the world. I mean, that's kind of who she is. But we brought it in a little bit and identified what are some of the key things that she needs help with. So we reduced the amount of money that she spent on employees. So we cut some of those costs, and we figured out a way to where the sales did not go lower based on a lower amount of help that she was getting. So we leveraged technology a little bit. We've leveraged some email campaigns that she's been on, and it's taken some time because these things don't happen overnight. But in doing that, her profits tripled. Her profits tripled simply by getting more out of what she had and spending a little bit less on some of those key areas. So, and her company is called Objects with Purpose. So in one case, Sharon, it was literally about investing and getting help and hiring people. For Ianthe, it was spending a little bit less while maintaining the profitability. And not only did it maintain, it went up 7 times. And the cash flow got much, much easier. Now she's working with, like, you know, it's a big operation, but it's leaner. It's much leaner.
Mm-hmm.
Cool?
Yeah.
So I am going to, where am I with this? Okay, that's right. I want to talk about this. So you might be thinking, okay, Justin, great. You've given us 2 case studies. How does this apply to me? What can I do with this? So I want you to write these down as I speak about them. And I want you to think about what you need to do to make strategic investments in your business so that you're still profitable, at least 10%, and so that you feel like it's not an expense investing. It's really just an asset that's going to come back to you in the form of more money. Number one, so this is about weighing whether to make an investment in your business. How much money are you going to invest up front? I mean, obviously, right? It's like, how much am I going to invest, right? You got to know that. And then what a lot of business owners forget is that is there ongoing investments that you're going to have to make? Is it a one-timer, or is it like forever? And obviously, the shorter, the smaller the investment and the shorter the amount of time, the better it is. And then how quickly are you going to make sales? Are you going to get paid in a month or two, or are you going to get paid in like 2 years? Because most business owners, they can handle, small business owners, new, kind of getting going, a month or two. Seasoned business owners that have a lot of cash flow and it just comes in, could be a year, that's fine. But how quickly are you going to get paid? Because if you can't get paid quick enough, it's going to hurt you. It's going to hurt your cash flow and ultimately your profitability. Number 4, how often are you going to get paid? This gets back to the business model that I spoke about at the beginning. Are you going to get paid one time, or can we figure out a way for you to get some consistent recurring income? Number 5, how long, right? How long are you going to get paid? So I want to just give you an example. I think I threw one in here. Yeah. Let's pretend that you want to exhibit at a trade show and you're really thinking like, okay, boy, I got to get there. There's going to be costs for this, costs for that. So $500 for a booth. You're going to have this like simple booth. You're going to travel. You'll have a few cocktails on the plane. You got to buy yourself a nice little lunch. You get marketing materials. You got to have an assistant be there. Like total, you're into it for $2,900. So now you got to ask yourself those 5 questions. How much are you going to invest? How long? And all that kind of stuff. So this is a one-time investment, which is good because it's one time. But it's a lot of money. It's not like $200 or $300. It's almost $3,000. But now you need to think of it as a form of an ROI. What's going to be your return? So let's pretend that you're that nutritionist. You're going to a nutritionist, health show, whatever. And your average client fee is $1,000. And let's just pretend that they pay you one time, that they don't pay you ongoing. And I'll get to the ongoing in a minute. So just stay with me. $2,900. You need 3 of those clients to break even. And I like to say that in this example, it's good to make like 2 or 3 times your money. So if you wanted to make 3 times your money, you got to bring in 9 clients. You got to bring in 9 clients. So if you think you could bring in 9 clients out of however many conversations you're going to have and conversions and all that kind of stuff, then this is a great investment. This will not impact your profitability. This will make it go up. But if you don't feel like you could make 2 or 3 times your money, then I would say it's a no-go. This is the kind of stuff that you got to hold your feet to the fire, because profitability is about, it's about you having money in the bank, being able to do what you want when you want, and being smart with the kinds of investments that you're going to make. So this is a hypothetical, but do you see this playing out, Star, with people that you're working with?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, well, I see them sometimes after the fact. They're like, I didn't do a good job of evaluating. And other times it was like, that was awesome. I'm going to do that again. So yeah. Considering all of this, the questions, how quickly, how much, how often, how long, and then like, using your deductive skills to figure out like, is it a good risk to take?
Yeah. I mean, just write these questions down, and the people that work with me in my group, I'd say we say no 6 or 7 times out of 10. Saying no opens up the space for a yes, the space for a good risk to take, the smarter investments to make. But it's okay if you say no. If people approach you or whatever, and you ask yourself these questions, you're like, man, I'm not going to make any money on this. This is a loser. And then you're like, you say no, and you're like, okay, I said no. I took care of myself, took care of the business, took care of the fact that it was profitable. And these are the kind of decisions that you need to make. And if you just look at these questions, they'll help you. So let me see if I can bring on Ianthe to jump on for a little bit. And let's see here. Where is my little thing? Okay. She's going to come on in a minute. Awesome. Here she is. Great. Now, hi there. You there? Oh, you're muted. All right. Hold on. Let me unmute you. Okay, cool. So I got Ianthe on. I'm going to introduce you in 1 minute. I just want to make sure we got the tech out of the way. Let me just focus in on this with you guys for a minute. This, to me, it's courage. To me, it's believing in yourself. To me, it's profitability. To me, it's there's nothing that can stop you. These are the kind of things that you need to be. You need to be the lion. You can be the cat, but out there, you got to be like, "Argh." You got to be the lion, and you got to like go for it. So Ianthe is one of those people where she just goes and goes and goes and goes. And she's worked with me. She's been a student of mine. And I wanted to just bring her on to have you to have her give you a little bit of an idea of the results that she's had, where she is in her business, and all that kind of stuff. So take it away.
Hey, everyone. Thank you. So Justin has helped me because I came into this as an entrepreneur who's very excited and very creative, but has no idea about numbers. In fact, I would even characterize myself as saying I've been allergic to numbers. And that wasn't healthy for my business. So luckily, it was actually Star that brought me to Justin. She said, "Look, this is where you're gonna get golden opportunities because you have the great ideas, but you know, the numbers are so vital. It's so important." So now I've learned, and it's like Justin is this incredible big brother or your favorite uncle or your, I don't know, he just has magic pixie dust with money. Okay. That's what he is.
That's so
I don't know how else to put it, but now I feel like, who am I? When someone asks me about how my business is going and there's someone that, is a mentor, kind of a person in my life, or they're also a fellow entrepreneur, and I'm able to talk to them in a transparent way about numbers. I used to be like this. "Oh, I think it's going well. I sold some candles today." Now it's, "Well, we sold this many this month. I have this much in inventory. I've made this plan, which means that this is what's going to come out of it with profitability. I lowered my overhead, so now I've got more profit. And I have real numbers, and I can actually say this." So thank you. Justin is magic that way.
Awesome. Yeah, awesome. It's great to hear that. But for me, it's so good to give and to help. I mean, I got into this because I had conversations with clients on the other side of my business, where I just dug into the numbers in their business, and they're like, "Where do I get more of this?" Like, there's no bookkeeper and tax, the accountants and the bookkeepers, they're more reactive. But where do you go for the money strategy in your business? And I just evolved into telling people, like, you got to get your head out of the sand. You've got to. I mean, literally, you have to get your head out of the sand. And a lot of people get so overwhelmed if they're alone. And that's what I found with working with not only Ianthe, but with other people, where they want to do this stuff together. And that's why I've created this program called Make the Numbers Make Sense. It's a group program. It's where I teach everyone one theme, one call, recorded call, Facebook group, all of that kind of stuff. And they feel like they're not alone. They feel like that, "Oh, you think that way? Oh, I think that way. Okay, good. Well, let's figure it out together." Yeah.
I'm so glad you do this program because as a community leader, I can't be all things to all people. And I am a referral machine. And the fact that
You are. Thank you.
I am. And I need to be because it's about the success of my community. And having you as one of my number one referral sources has been so staggeringly successful for the people in my community that I send to you, like that picture with everybody with their head in the sand. It's like, I know if I see this, I'm like, send them to Justin because he'll get them straightened out. So I love that you're making it so simple, that it's easy, that it's valuable, that it's having incredible results for so many. I mean, Ianthe is one of them, but I have so many success stories in my community alone. It's like, this is really important stuff. You master it, you master your business, you master your life. So I love that you're making the numbers make sense for people.
And Justin, I have to say, you attract the right kind of people, because the group that we have that I'm a part of, we end up helping each other. I feel like they're all my friends. They're all my greatest cheerleaders. And in fact, I use them almost like my board of directors. When I have a question about something in my business, I'm so not alone. And it's not only you that I have, it's these great people that you have attracted into this group. And they're all there for me anytime I need in our private Facebook page, which I use a lot.
Thank you. It is great. It's a good feeling to help you guys. So let me just go over a little bit about what is it that I really talk about. I'm interested in profitability, but in the first call, it's a 4-week program. I tell you what to track and how to track it. And you don't have to be the one. Here's the secret. You don't have to be the one doing the tracking. We'll find someone to do it for you. Most likely your bookkeeper or some other uncle you have. Of course I can help, but this is the key thing. The second thing is, which I could talk forever about, is pricing. Like, I love pricing. I'm constantly investing in myself, learning more pricing strategies, but I've helped people grow sales simply with number 2, pricing. Number 3, how do you make smart investments? I kind of talked about that, but really, how do you make smart investments? How do you measure ROI? What's the right way to do that? I hit that in week 3. And then week 4, we talk about marketing, but we talk about it by being intentional with what it is that you're going to market, the content that you're going to market, the time that you're going to market, like what's coming up in May, what's in July, what's in September, how much are you going to invest in each of these mini campaigns? What do you expect to make off of it? Where's the profitability going to come from? Do you have the cash to do it? Who's going to help you? All of that kind of stuff. These 4 things here. If you go through this, you will be so much further along than gobs of people, because this stuff is not taught in a lot of places from my perspective, right? I'm a money strategist. I understand the mindset of business owners, how overwhelming it can be and stressful. But you know what? Maybe my new tagline should be, it's all good in the hood. I can just hear Lionel Richie right now singing, now I'm easy, easy like Sunday morning. I know, stick to my day job. So we have 4 weekly calls. The calls are recorded. The private Facebook group, I'm giving you the perspective. You can bounce ideas off of me in the group. You're really, really not alone. You're in a community of terrible singers like me. Simon Cowell's killing me right now. But this is the stuff that you need. Here's an image of the Facebook group where people commenting and there's numbers flying around and all that kind of stuff. And my one-on-one clients pay me anywhere between $7,000 and $12,000. I really don't want to make myself available for the next 6 months to a year. It's not a great use of my time, and I can teach most of this stuff to my non-private client people in a group format and give them practically the same. So I wanted to create something that's affordable, right? And I'm not even charging $1,000 for this. Really, I'm not. It's less than that. And if you join, I'm going to give you 3 tools that I use. The first one is an instant raise calculator. How do you really give yourself a raise? How do you calculate how profitable an investment could be? That's what the instant raise calculator is. Then I've got a 5-minute business bottom line. Like, how much money do you have? Where's it going? Who owes you? Who do you owe? How much cash do you have in the bank? What are your sales? If you just input your stuff like every month, it'll really help you. And then what I love is let's make some more money. So I got 7 ways. This is great. It's a drip content audio series that you'll get for free for joining. And this is the big reveal. It's $497. That's it. It's not $1,000. It's 5 calls, people. It's 5 calls for $500. It's awesome. People love it. I'm pricing it here because I want it to be a reach for you. I want you to have some skin in the game, but I want it to be a place that you can go and feel good at and not feel like you're getting, you're joining some of these like $25,000 mastermind programs with no access. This is a 180 from that. This is a group coaching program with a ton of access. Mm-hmm. So maybe you guys can add anything else to what you're hearing, but because you kind of know my spiel and what I'm about.
Money well spent, for sure. $500 if you're in a business, it's like, this is a no-brainer. And I totally would agree with you. I mean, having spent hundreds of thousands of dollars in mastermind over even just the last few years, $500, it's like you could literally have a return on investment in a very short period of time on this. It's so, again, I am a referral. I'm only as good as my last referral, right? Because I am in a business where that's what I do. And this is a no-brainer. I think if you've looked at the value that you've already gotten from Justin right now, it's like, people, this is the number one issue that I see big business and small businesses is cash flow management and learning how to get a grip on your emotions so that the numbers make sense, so you make strong decisions moving forward, because in business, our decisions today affect tomorrow, and they're far reaching, and you have to be solid and strong. And if you understand your numbers, you're confident. And I'll throw it to you, Iante, like, how has it changed you?
Well, first I have to say, I want to assure you that Justin won't even encourage you to be in this program if it's not right for you and your business. He's one of those people that, unlike so many people in this world, there isn't a predatory bone in his body, and he will not take advantage of anyone or anyone's business. In fact, he'll do the opposite. He's in it to see us all thrive and be abundant in everything that we do. And I feel that in every call that I'm on with him, and in our Facebook group as well. So you don't have to worry. Is this, if you're thinking, is this right for me? He'll tell you, you'll know. And I think he has a system for that too. But the other thing is, the way it's changed me is I feel like I have support all the time. And I have not just people that are kind to me, which is always great, and say, you're doing a great job, but someone who can literally look at me and say, you spent that on what? Okay, how did that go for you? Well, let's try it this way, because I think this will be better. And he's always right. So it's just invaluable. And it's very generous at $497, because you'll definitely.
Thank you. Thank you. One other thing, if you're thinking about, okay, great, well, I can get these 4 calls. Well, what happens if I want to work longer term? I have an implementation group, which is even cheaper than this monthly. But just give yourself the space to invest in yourself and get clear on the numbers. So where do you go? You go to jcrane.com/numbers. It's all right there. Just sign up as soon as you enroll. We start the groups like at least once or twice a month. They're generally on Wednesdays. Just sign up. Once I see that you've signed up, I'll reach out to you. We'll get on the phone, or we'll at least exchange emails and get on the same page. So thank you very much, Star. I really appreciate you coming on, and Iante as well. Thank you so much. And for everyone watching, it's time to make the numbers make sense. Let's go to the moon.
Thanks, Justin.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Great call.